What's up, chat? How are you doing? Close.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall.
So, hope that you're all good. Welcome to the live stream. Another day, another live stream, and it's actually quite a special day because today my wife and I have a relationship for 6 years. This is the day that we started officially dating. And pretty much 6 years later, we married now, just 3 months ago. So, yeah, it's a special day. We go to the cinema tonight and, of course, spend some time together. We've been for a run. We chilled. You know, it's a good day. And we go to the movie Hitman tonight. I'm actually quite curious to see what kind of movie that is. We always love going to the movies. We already, we also love going for dinner. But today is going to be, in the middle of the week, is going to be a movie day. So yeah, let's see. I'll keep you up to date tomorrow. Let you know how the movies were. But welcome everyone. Good to have you here. This is also the live stream where I'm going to show you a sneak peek of what I have been working on in the background for all of you. So it should launch very soon, but I'm going to show you a sneak peek. And that basically means I'm going to show you one of the thumbnails of a video that is coming. So that you'll have a little bit of an idea of what is coming. I'll show it before I actually get into the analysis. But first, what's up, everyone? Luca, Seriga, Hamza. Wow, every like Tarun, good to have you here. Mando Tav, Flotty, how are you doing? Flotty literally sniped this high for a 1 to 8. Was it Flotty? Like, very, very nice. We did have some nice bearish CVD divergences at the high, on the 3 minute. Rostam, welcome. Hiop, Hottentotten. Eric, good to have you here. Elliott Wave, looks like you might also be an Elliott Wave analyst, maybe on YouTube. Hiop, hey, Nick, a long time no speak. Kept following you and rather late and sorry. Congrats with your wife and your plans to move to France. Cheers, MX Nick. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, of course, we haven't been in touch too much on WhatsApp recently, but thanks for popping in and sending a message. I appreciate it. Yeah, Bo Salai is we got a video of the apartment we're planning to rent. Hopefully we get it because there's always more than, you're not the only one that wants it. So we said that we want it. We're very excited, and hopefully we are lucky because that's it. They're gonna compare and check and whatnot with all the people that are interested. So it's like a lottery now. So we'll see. Leva, welcome. Kramos, Sam, good to have you here. 008Z, Prem from Toronto, Canada. Zad, good to have you here. Cheers, thank you. Leva, Job, cheers. Kramo, BNB, welcome. Rob from Colorado, good to have you here. Prem, thanks. Andrea Tossi. Ekaterina, how you doing? Thanks for all your comments as well. But yeah, thanks. Duran, I appreciate your message as well. It's been a while, Duran, since I saw a comment or message, but good to have you here. Youssef from Algeria, welcome. Crypto Wave Rider, merci beaucoup. 1 down, now move for 2 up as a flat potential, but yeah, we'll cover the probabilities, of course. Karim, good to have you here. We're going to cover the Elliott, so in this live stream, what we're going to do, so the agenda for today pretty much is New York just opened, so it's always interesting. We always have we also have a bit of news. So we'll see if this does anything really, but it's 4th of June, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Central European time. Jolt's job openings. I have no idea what it is, but it's on the agenda. 3-star impact trading economics is the website I use. Well, we'll see, right? Honestly, I think that we're going to probably be staying in the 72-66K range till at least next week, Wednesday. If you look at this list here, this should be a very exciting day. Now, you bet I'll be live Wednesday, June 12th in the afternoon, because I think that, you know, we've been condensing in this range. We're here forever, it feels like, and it would be nice to move out eventually. Yeah, might be the day, no? Adrian Starfish, good to have you here. So what we're gonna do, cover Elliott Waves. I tend to stick around on the higher time frames at the moment. Of course, we observe what happens locally. Yeah, I like to talk about the higher time frames. And of course, I promised that I will show you a sneak peek as well. Now I'm going to show you the sneak peek of a playlist that is coming up on YouTube. That I've never worked so hard on content, on a playlist, on making thumbnails, on like, you know. So I'm actually quite proud of myself, but I'll see what the feedback is once it's actually online. But I'm going to show that in a second. Please explain the local structure from 71 in detail today. It's so confusing. Oh, yeah, so you want to go to the 50-minute time frame. We can have a look, but generally, you know, the lower time frames, probabilities, bullish CVD, I mean, they don't really, they were hired to move up. And yeah, I mean, we have a bit of a push now, so that's nice to see. But we're going to cover Elliott Wave, so we can also cover that bit. Now, to start with the sneak peek, it's something that I've been working on for several weeks, and I kept it quiet for quite a long time. But of course, recently I've started sharing about a new playlist coming to YouTube, and also reorganizing some of the membership ships based on some feedback, but also what can be found online and all that stuff. So I want to show you this as an example. This is one thumbnail as a sneak peek of a big playlist that is coming very soon. I know it's a bit stretched, as in like my screen, because my recording, my live stream is a bit stretched because I cut out the top and the bottom of my screen, but it's a full thumbnail size picture for the video running triangle in this particular case. And this is a sneak peek for what is to come. So very exciting. Cost yeah, a lot of work, but I hope that people will enjoy it. So coming soon. coming soon. coming soon. So hopefully it will benefit all of you that are willing to learn Elliott Waves. Flo Aaron, a morning. Good to have you. By the way, let me know what you think about the thumbnail as well. If you like the colors and the stuff, let me know your thoughts. But yeah, there is something coming, and that took a lot of time. I'm happy it's almost finished as well. You know, like if you work on a big project in the background, and you're pretty much doing that in the dark, you know, no one really knows except for like my wife and friends. Eventually you get to a moment where you're like, fuck man, I'm happy if this is done and finished. I will continue to make videos for that playlist though, because I have a couple more ideas, but the foundation is already finished, just doing some final tweaks. So Dasak, welcome, good to have you here. Then just select one tab. Yeah, I could have just made one thumbnail, but I wanted to be precise and, you know, make everything nicer than you'll see on the channel. Eventually what I'm looking for is also to make a more branding specific thumbnail for the general, like the general updates and the live streams instead of the random Bitcoin pictures, but this is future stuff. Sam, cheers. Thanks, man. 70.2k potentially. Yeah. Cheers, Sam. Cheers, Hamza. Thank you, guys. Maria, welcome. Okay, let's go. So I put the 886 on the chart because the 886 is always important. It's taken from the high to the low. Hitting the 886, probabilities are higher to take that high. That is just a local fib that you can keep in mind. Of course, there's some other stuff here like bullish CVD divergences as well. I'm not sure if we don't have bearish CVD divergences at the moment. No. So we do have bullish CVD, but no bearish CVD. That being said, I do like to zoom out. Probably today is going to be quite the chatting and Q&A session because there's not too much to say. Like not too much has changed. Prefer sticking around on the higher time frames at the moment. So yeah, let's go to the weekly. Start here, but this will be a relatively short analysis compared to what you're used to, and then we're going to observe the local price action ourselves, of course, and what's happening here. So okay. Cheers, Steve. It's a pleasure. Hopefully it will be very useful. Flo Aaron, what do you think? Close 80% on the long? Depends on your plan, my friend. Depends on your plan. Have a plan, have a strategy. I will first run through the folders I have here. Quick little summary of the video this morning. And then I will add the other folders. Let me just at least drag them in so that we don't forget to talk about it. Okay, so stick with start with the basics. Always good to zoom out. Weekly time frame, bullish scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we expect at least 2 more pushes up, finish 5 in green, and then eventually a 5 in yellow, right? So here we have our wave 4, potentially low is in, right? 38205 common target area from the low of 2 to the high of 3. So invalidation 49.3k. As long as you don't hit 49.3k, probabilities on the weekly time frame are higher for continuation of the bigger trend towards the upside. If you even hit 49.3k, there are still other bullish scenarios, but they're not really yet relevant to talk about in a lot of detail. So for now, this is your invalidation 49.3k. Bullish scenario, right? The bullish scenario here, a wave 4 and then a 5 towards the upside. We've been talking about this scenario for a long time now. So we have our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Target for 5 is on the chart. There is always the potential for multiple 1-2s. And that is also because your wave 3 is relatively short. This is nice about live streams. I can explain a bit more. Because in a impulse to the upside or downside, but generally in an impulse, you have a wave 1, 2, and your 3 is the extended, longest, strongest, highest volume wave. And then you get a 4 and a 5, right? And you make a new high on lower volume. And in this particular structure, your wave 3 is actually quite short. If you take a trend-based fib extension from the low of 1 to the high of 1 to the low of wave 2, you can see that we pretty much ended at the 1.236. A usually minimum target for wave 3 is the 1.618 if it extends, right? And actually the 1.618, that's like a low target. Wave 3 can easily extend to a 2.618, 3.618, 4.618, can be very long. The main rule for a wave 3 is that it can't be the shortest wave between a 1, 3, and 5. Well, it's not the shortest because it's longer than 1. But in a impulse, preferably your wave 3 is the extended structure. And it's actually not really extended. We would like to see the 1.618 hit. Now, just because of this, there is the potential as well that instead of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we are looking for multiple 1-2s in this range. 1, 2, 1, 2, that would be a double 1, 2. Of course, arguably with the higher lows we have in the range here, there is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, whatever, couple of 1-2s. It may look like a triangle, but for the people that were in the market when we were down here at a 42k, you'll probably remember that back in the day, we counted this as a potential multi 1-2 as well. And John, I don't know if John is here, is probably at work in Australia. John was the one that thought of the multi 1-2 here in this range before the liftoff. Looks like a triangle, wasn't a triangle. So at least it is something to be aware of. But in both of the scenarios, you're going to be looking for upside anyway. And if price is going to move to the upside and takes the high, well, we'll just observe what happens, no? Because in a wave 5, you want to see a rejection here. And if you just pump up with crazy volume and literally there's not even a range forming, well, we look for higher, right? It's easy. It's just trade management from that point onwards. Now, because wave 1 and 3 are quite similar in price, it gives the opportunity for wave 5 to be the extended structure. That is, however, more rare. The extended target for 5 is the 1.618 taken from the low of 1 to the high of 3 to the lowest point of your wave 4, 91.3k, getting close to the 100, no? Invalidation for this particular scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is price moving down, taking this high at 65.5k. If you do move down and take out 65.5, it will increase the probabilities for the bearish scenarios. Talking about the bearish scenarios, here we go. So, I mean, you can probably dream the scenarios by now, but we have a zigzag here, A, B, C, with a 5-wave leading diagonal in A, zigzag in B, and then you want to see a 5-wave structure down in a wave C. 886 here, target for a wave B. That is a target for a wave B, so that absolutely works. But then you want to see an impulsive structure to the downside for a wave C, and validation is all-time high. Most common target for C is the one to the 1.236, 54.6, 50.5, taken from the high to the low of A to the high of B. You can't really drop a lot further, because if we want to maintain the bullish scenario on the weekly time frame, you can see that the 1-to-1 is in confluence with the 0.5, so that's fine. The 1.236 is still okay, but you don't really want to drop, because then you get to the 0.618 at 49.3k. So that, of course, is not really ideal. So preferably you hit the most common target and then you bounce from there in the bearish scenario. Now, I do prefer a zigzag ABC over a WX and a wave Y, which is a scenario that you may have seen, may have heard, and it is a scenario that previously in the past I also had on my chart, which is this one. Now, the reason a zigzag ABC has a higher probability compared to a WXY when we compare the bearish scenarios is because of the final leg up in wave X. This counts a lot better as an ABC to the upside compared to an impulse. And for a wave X, this has to be an impulse in a wave ABC expanding flat. Wave W, regular flat, X, expanding flat, and then you look for Y. In wave X, we then look for 3-wave A, yeah, that's fine, 3-wave B, perfect, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has to be your wave 4. But your wave 4, first of all, is shorter than 2, which is rare by itself. That's very uncommon that it happens, at least. Usually, most commonly, a wave 4 is longer than a wave 2. But also, your wave 4 is incredibly shallow compared to wave wow, sorry, the Telegram notification put me off there. Your wave 4 is very shallow. If you take a fib from the low to the high of your internal 3, price didn't even hit the 0.236, which generally is regarded as a minimum target, right? So let me, sorry for the notifications, guys. I don't know why I get messages at the moment. Lol. So I put the notifications off there. So preferably this is a 3-wave structure compared to a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-wave structure. And therefore the probabilities naturally would then be higher for an ABC compared to the WXY. So we continue to observe, but that is just something I wanted to talk to you about. If price does move to the downside and touches the 49.3k level, as my chart is trying to load here, quite interestingly. TradingView, so yesterday TradingView wasn't that fast. Usually this, TradingView works perfectly fine and it's very nice and fast, but the last 2 days it's been a little bit laggy. Also restarted everything at home before going live, but TradingView is not really comfy at the moment. If you do lose 49.3k, no problem. There are still other bullish scenarios, but you don't really want to get back inside this range, right? This is, of course, talking about very bearish scenarios. If you lose 49.5k, then, yeah, you have a bit of a problem with regards to the trend. You actually don't want to get this far, get this low, or lose it. You retest perfectly fine, but you don't want to get back in the range, retest 49.5. Point of control is very close, which pretty much would invalidate most of the bullish scenarios on a weekly time frame. Now, this volume profile is very nicely respected. It's a volume profile from this range over here. Resistance, resistance, support, breakout. Channel, also a nice one. Can definitely recommend to put it on your chart. Make sure to use the logarithmic scale. Take it from the low to the high. Nicely respected here. Moving to the upside, ranging on the midline, top line, midline, breakout, retest. You want to see continuation. No? Failing to see continuation, getting back inside this range increases probabilities to go to the midline. Okay. So that is that basically from a weekly perspective. So the probabilities are highest on the weekly for bullish continuation until you would at least, by as a bare minimum, hit 49.3k. As long as you don't hit 49.3k, the probabilities on the weekly will always be higher to move towards the upside. There's no reason yet to think about probabilities higher to move down to much lower prices, right? That is hopeful, like that's, what's that word, like hopeful wishing or hopeful whatever. But there's no signs at the moment for that to happen. So we would need to lose significant support areas and hit significant levels to the downside before even considering an end of the trend and a bigger move towards the downside, for example. So yeah, let's zoom in. Wishful thinking. Thank you, Sam. Thanks. Yo, my English, yo. Second language. That's my excuse. That's my excuse. Cheers, Sam. So pretty much what I just covered was the video of this morning in a nutshell. And I didn't go into detail into this range this morning because we've been doing that for, I mean, pretty much the past like 2 weeks now. But also that as long as price is not at least touching, well, in this case, 67.3 would maybe slightly increase probabilities to move down. But if you don't at least hit 66.6k, the probabilities would generally suggest, from an Elliott Wave point of view, to move to the upside. So far, price action here is creating higher highs and higher lows. And even in this range, we are creating a higher low so far. We came close to the low, but we didn't take the low. We didn't hit 65.5k to invalidate a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have bullish CVD divergences on the chart as well. Bullish CVD here, bullish CVD locally as well. So there is no clear sign of weakness. And if price does move down to 66.6k, that is when probabilities locally on a 4-hour chart, not on a weekly, but on a 4-hour, will start to turn. And if you touch 65.5, that's when they really start to become bearish and we can look for bigger moves to the downside. Now, of course, we are keeping an eye on these structures that are potentially forming here. And I do have a couple of scenarios that I will run you through. Might be a bit confusing because it's a few, right? But I will explain them the best way I can. What's up, Hira? How you doing? We got news right now, yeah. So there we go. This is the 4 p.m. US JOLTS job openings, whatever that may be. But let's see if we get some volatility. So make sure you trade safe, as yeah, we might get some volatility now. I will go through chat after the analysis, right? So chatting and a Q&A. Okay, I'm gonna open all of these folders. I gotta also check what's in all of these. So the first one, man, what's up with TradingView, man? It takes so long to load. Okay, I'm gonna refresh my chart. Come on, buddy. So yesterday, someone in chat wrote me a message saying that TradingView experienced some problems. So they were fixing stuff, and that's the reason why it was a bit slow. But I don't know, maybe they're still doing stuff in the background now. Anyway, the most bullish scenario is that we have started an impulse to the upside, where this is here your low and we're looking for a wave 1 and then a 2 and continuation to the upside here, right? Now in this particular case, let's put the targets on as well. Could be looking for a 1, 2, 3 sideways 4 and then a wave 5. Top in a wave 1, rejected 71k. It is an area of resistance where we have a daily naked point of control and of course the high just below. And then look for a wave 2 to the downside. Price so far here did not hit the 0.618 and touching this 0.618, which is taken from this low to the high, would invalidate a wave 4 in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So therefore, there's the potential for a wave 4 here, and now a 5 to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulse. We want to see proof of resistance, of course, right? Show or show me, as in like the chart has to show me it wants to reject, it wants to find resistance. I want to see absorption, market structure change, volume to the downside, whatever you're looking for. RSI, CVD, MACD, money flow indicator, but some proof of resistance to look for price to move to the downside. Of course, the most bullish scenario is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then this resistance is going to be peanuts. So I'll let the chart do the talking, no? Very patient, whatever. If price does move to the downside, touch the 618 here at 68.4k, would invalidate a wave 4 in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we need to put this wave 1 on top of this one for the most bullish scenario, and then we look for a bigger 2 to the downside, right? And then your target for 2 is the 05 to the 786, 68.4, 67.3k. That's your most common target area. This would be your most bullish scenario. Now, it's not too easy to end this range at this low here, right? There's only a couple of structures really that we of course can use, zigzags and flats and triangles and WXYs. A zigzag doesn't work. For a double zigzag, you need to take this low, and the low isn't taken, so that also doesn't work. Triple zigzag is very rare. A flat doesn't work because we didn't go high enough with this move to the upside, so a flat doesn't work. Any of the flats, expanding, regular, and a running flat. A triangle, well, you can't finish a triangle here as well, so that's out of the running, which basically means the only way to try and finish something here would be a WXY or a WXY-XZ. Now, WXY-XZ is incredibly rare, never preferred, unless all of the other stuff fails. So we're not looking for a WXY-XZ. Therefore, we then are stuck with a WXY. But in a WXY, your W can only be two structures, a flat or a zigzag. Well, clearly, the structure to the downside is not a flat structure. So we then need to count a zigzag, and that is then your W. But because wave W is a zigzag, wave Y can't be a zigzag anymore. It has to be in a sideways double combo. It has to be a flat or a triangle. Also, by the way, for a double zigzag, if you would do this, WX, and then look for Y, ABC, your X hit the 0.7 fib taken from the high to the low of W, which decreases probability significantly for a double zigzag. So we then need a W, then somewhere we need an X, and we need to put a wave Y here. But we now know that wave Y needs to be a triangle, or wave Y is a flat. Now the only flat would be A, B, C, but that means C has to be a 5-wave structure, but this is very much a 3-wave structure, not a 5-wave. We wanted to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second option would be A, B, C, but yeah, you can't really count a 5-wave structure in all of this, clearly. So, triangle. Well, the only triangle that I can put on my chart is an expanding triangle. Yeah, I've been thinking about that one. So, we have our W, and then we have our W, and then we have, 1 second here. Need to finish X, W, so X can be a pop. Pop, and then we need X, and then eventually X, A, B, C, D, E. What did I have on my chart again? W, X, A, B, C. Ah, damn it. Doesn't work. Because we need a zigzag, in that case W, X, Y. But if we put X here, you clearly can't count a triangle in here. A, So we need to do WX and then a flatten Y. But if we end X here, then we can't have a triangle. A, B, C, D, no. It needs to end here. A, B, C, D, E. Whatever, that is for me the only way to end the range at this low. And that's pretty much what we're talking about. So the only way for me to end the range here would be to count some expanding structure in the end. Because a double zigzag doesn't work, all of the other scenarios. So, going to the next one. Bearish scenario is a wave 1 and a wave 2. Now, in this scenario, your wave 1 has an extended 5. Now, based on the explanation I gave earlier, that is a rare structure. Right, so we then have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is your longest and strongest wave in that case. But an expanded 5 or extended 5 is less common than an extended 3. It's uncommon. So that does impact some of the probabilities. Now then inside wave 2, we look for a 3-wave corrective structure. Common target for 2 is the golden pocket to the 786. 886 is rare. The moment you hit the 886 here, probabilities are higher immediately to take out 72K. Now, preferably this wave 2 is going to end very soon. We don't really want to see it go to the 5 pip time, taken from the start to the end of 1, which is sitting on the 7th of June. Inside this wave 2, we are then looking for a WXY, which you see on the chart here. Zigzag in W, flat in X, and a flat in wave Y, where this is then counted a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more leg to the upside in 5. Wave 4 not invalidated, didn't touch the 0.618. So therefore, we still have the potential to finish a wave C and wave Y at higher prices to count a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-wave structure. Hitting the 1.236, potentially do resistance at 71K, reject and move to the downside. So 71K, you're not safe just yet. We will observe the reaction once we're there. Okay. Thank you. Takes a while. Got to be patient with TradingView today. The triangle started to look not as great. Also, this move to the downside, the first structure down on a 3-minute time frame looks a bit more 3-wavy. So for a triangle, you're looking for A, B, C, D, E. Wave B here counts better as a WXY, but wave C can't be a simple zigzag ABC as well. It's very difficult to count it as one. As a wave A, then B needs to end here, and then you have a short C. Arguably, a WXY would fit better, but in a triangle, only one wave is allowed to be a complex structure, not B and C. Right? So it does lower the probabilities a bit. But in this scenario, you would look for a wave E and then eventually continuation to the upside here. The 886 is touched for wave D, taken from the high to the low of C, which is a target for D. It's just less common to hit the 886 for D. And then you want to see a 3-wave move down. Zigzag preferably in your E, and then move to the upside. Common target in blue, 05, and the 886 a little less common. Right? If price moves up, takes the high here at 70.6K, invalidates the triangle. We're not going to be looking for that triangle. And that's it. So, of course, I explained it might be a bit tricky, but on a weekly time frame, probabilities are higher to look for upside. I actually think I still have it here. Yeah, so on the weekly time frame, the probabilities are higher for bullish scenarios compared to bearish scenario. If you want to increase probabilities for the bears, you need to at least hit 49.3K. Then we can talk. On the 4-hour time frame, the probabilities remain higher for upside unless you hit 66.6K. That is when the probabilities start to switch. If you hit 65.5K, that is when probabilities really increase for the more bearish scenario. Okay. So yeah, that's it with regards to the probabilities, and that is pretty much what I wanted to talk about. If price touches the 886, which it didn't yet do, Also locally, the probabilities will increase for price to move towards the upside and take out this high, which in turn increases probabilities to move to 71k, where we have a daily naked point of control. So that would be something to look for. So at least I keep the 886 on my chart. Let's also put the golden pocket on the chart, because somehow after an 886 touch, price does have a tendency to move to a golden pocket. We didn't yet touch it, but it's interesting to observe. And with regards to CVD, as explained, we have bullish CVD here. Currently no bearish CVDs, and we also have bullish CVDs here. Now the target of this bigger bull CVD is this high, and the target of these CVDs is that high. So yeah, we'll see what price is gonna give us, no? So yeah, that's it with regards to probabilities, really. Not really trying to get involved too much with the local mess at the moment. I also wrote a message earlier today in the setups channel. Link is in the description, by the way. But I explained, bless you, and bless you again. So this is the setups channel where I share ideas. So this morning here, still running the long that I have. It's a swing trade, so still running that. Stop loss break even. And I said the only potential, so I'm not really looking for new positions because of with Elliott Waves I do like swing trading if I can catch one. However, I said if there's at least one, then there would be one in the range. 618 is an invalidation, 404. So, that would be easy stop loss, and then look for 71k if we can get it. Of course, with the move to the upside, risk management is very smart. So this one runs in profit. Over here, as long as there were bearish divs, no interest. I just wait for invalidation or volume or for them to play out. Eventually, they did play out. And then over here, I wrote why I'm not finishing shorts yet. Now, you're not really able to read everything I wrote here because of my webcam, but here you go. So I said, can the shorts play out? Sure. Bear CVD would accompany it, but CVD, the bull CVD doesn't. But I'm not here to trade every move. I'm here to trade, think about high probability moves, after which I'll observe the reaction at my area of interest and then make a decision. We've been in this daily range, right, on the daily time frame for a very long time now. Probabilities on the higher time frames haven't yet changed, right? As just mentioned, bullish till at least some clear signs of weakness, take 66.6k, clear local signs of weakness. We need something at least before we can really change probabilities. So first want to see local bear structures or grab the lows of the range. And even though we had some good short setups in this range based on clear indications, which we've traded, the current local low time frame range, this one locally over here, the one that we are now moving not out of, but we move to the upside, isn't yet clear. Wave 4 and 5 up, or did price stop and move down? We're also coming close to a potential end of this whole range that we've been in for a few weeks now. This means I'm not too eager to get ahead of myself. The long from the low over here, nice riding, Koen, great job. The long from the low is set. That was the latest logical idea. Now patience tested, waiting for future opportunities and more clarity. The bear CVD, I wasn't interested at that moment to get to hop into trades. So I know what I'm looking for, and I just wait for price to show me what it wants to do. No, I also don't want to overtrade. So I don't want to. This range has been very kind, and I don't want to get ahead of myself and trade too much. So once I'm in a potential swinger, I also just like to see if it runs or not. So yeah, that's it, Joe. That's it. Let's I actually wrote, I forgot. I don't know when we started the analysis, but let me be let's do 18 minutes, and then I'm sure that if people go to 18 minutes, they'll probably end up somewhere in the middle of the analysis, and they'll be able to go back at 18 min. Now chatting and Q&A. Et voilà, mon ami, c'est tout. Hop. Okay, God, I love Elliott waves. Isn't it nice? Like the art of puzzling. Because that's pretty much what you're doing as an analyst, no? We're just puzzling. We're trying to solve the puzzle as good as we can. And then hopefully have it play out in our favor. So the refresh that you see, I don't know why it happens. It's not me. I'm not clicking any buttons. I'm not refreshing my tab. It just happens. It's crazy, no? I have no idea why that happens. By the way, did we take the low here? We did actually, so I need to move this to... it doesn't matter. It's like $1. It's fine. Okay, up. Best way to find the analysis is to search for when you move the chat window to the other screen. Why am I so confused? Best way to find the analysis is to search for when you move the chat window to the other screen. So that, and then analyze. That would be correct. Instead of having it on the screen. Oh, right. Oh, that's what you're talking about. I agree. Now, also, so now I get you. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, I fully agree. What I do with the timestamps, so after the live stream, I put the timestamps in the live stream, right? So people know when the analysis starts. And so I kind of know around what time I start, but I never really know when I ended. So I always just scroll through my video quickly, and then till the moment I see the chat back in the screen, and then I know, okay, that's the end of the analysis. All good, man. Game Creepers, what's up? How are you doing? Mark, welcome. Good to have you here. Yeah, you'll see probably more than one refresh. No idea why it happens. Where were we? Oh yeah, let me, so there's a teaser. There's a big playlist coming, everyone. And I have a teaser for you. So there's a brand new playlist, and I'm looking to launch it this week, very soon, by all means. And to show you a teaser of what you can expect, right? This is your teaser. Now, of course, my screen is a bit stretched because I'm recording and I cut out the top and the bottom, but it's a thumbnail for one of the videos in the playlist. And I really put a lot of work in the videos and trying to make a decent thumbnail. Thanks to Dowo for the foundation of the thumbnail, and then I made all my own stuff. So this is coming very soon, and hopefully it will benefit all of you that are looking to get better, learn more. Maybe you're new and you want to start. It's gonna come very soon. Very, very soon. The WXI that you don't use now, can we be in the fifth wave of X now? As you said, that's a possibility. But then you would expect to still take the high. So once you move up above the high at 72K and you look for that wave 5, right? Could even move above all-time high. You could then move down for wave Y. However, the probabilities would then also, like, you have to think about flat versus WXY. Arguably a WXY would then look, oh wait, no, it's not possible. What am I saying? The answer to your question is no. Let me quickly explain why. It literally just, it's very low probabilities that if you do move up here, that this is your 5 of your bigger X, and then you move down in a wave Y. And the reason is time. If you take a fib time from the start of your, this is the end of W. Wait, I need to put this on the chart. So this is your W, and then you have X, and then you look for Y. Inside X, you have a expanding flat, A, B, C. But if you take a fib time from the start of your A to the end of your B and you double click and put it on 2, now you can see that if we would make a new high now, it will be made after the 2 fib time. The moment a wave C in an expanding flat is longer than twice the length of A plus B, it significantly reduces the probabilities you're looking at a wave C of an expanding flat. So preferably, therefore, you're looking at something different if you do take the high. So your probabilities are higher. You're going to be looking at a wave A or a wave 1 in that case. That's of course in the bullish case, because it can also be a wave 5 of a bigger wave 5 of the bigger wave 3 to then start a wave 4. Remember in the analysis at the beginning? And then you go up for a final push in the final 5. Which pretty much means you move to the upside. Yeah, you might get to like 80k and whatnot, but then you're gonna start another like multi-month range like this, but likely even longer. Oh. Next week we will take the high from 74k and then dump. Yeah, flat possibilities, or as mentioned, finish a 5 and then move down. Yeah. How do you decide which probability is better than the other? Okay, I always like this question. It's a great question, and it's also a question that is related to the playlist that is coming up. So in the beginning, when you're like new to Elliott Waves, right? Yeah, there's 2 skills here, right? So first of all, you have skill, or your skill level, right? So how good are you in Elliott Waves? And then you have your subjectivity. In the beginning, your skill is very low. Your skill is very low, which means your subjectivity is very high. You're not really able to identify the structures. You don't really know what you're looking at. You don't know you also need volume and trend-based fibs and normal fibs and all the other stuff. Like you don't have that all the theory in your head. So your skill is low, meaning subjectivity is high. Based on your analysis, you pretty much have no clue what's going on. That's where I was in the beginning as well. You don't really know. You try to know, but you don't really know. It's too subjective. You don't yet have the skill, and it's difficult to really have a feeling for the probabilities, because the probabilities are of course based on the rules and the guidelines of Elliott Waves. But the better your skill becomes, right, the lower the subjectivity. It can never go to a full 0%, right? But the better you get, the lower your subjectivity. And the more you know about all the scenarios, all the rules, the guidelines, the volume that you're looking for, fib time, the fibs, the trend-based fibs, all of the structures, that is when your skill's so high, your subjectivity goes down, and you'll be a lot better in providing probabilities for yourself. Hey, based on everything that I've covered, this scenario, right? This scenario looks better in according to Elliott Wave rules, the guidelines, the fibs, fib time, right? Context. And that is then what you can use in your trading. So we all start, including myself, I'll be completely honest. I also in my first year quit Elliott Waves for 2 months because I was pissed. I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. WXYs was my biggest problem that was my final issue. WXYs, complex structures. Yeah, it's about the skill versus subjectivity. So the better you get, the lower the subjectivity, the more you'll be able to have a good feeling of the probabilities, which you can then trade yourself as well. Yeah. Joseph, I mean, have a plan. I mean, if you short and you have a plan, right? So you have a stop loss in place, you know how much you're gonna lose. If your stop loss is hit, you also know how much you're gonna win. If your take profit is hit, you know based on data what your risk to reward ratio is, how good your plan performs in the market. Your win rate is never going to be 100% anyway. So if you follow your plan and you lose a trade based on your plan, no problem, right? Part of the deal. However, if you lose a trade, and it was a trade not according to your plan, so you don't have an edge in the market, you're trading without an edge, that is when you have a problem. Because then emotions are going to run high as well. So if you trade 50, if you have a win rate of 50% and your strategy has a 1 to 3 RR, you're a great profitable trader. 50% win rate, 1 to 3 RR. That's amazing, right? And you know, many people think I got to be a millionaire tomorrow. That's not how it works though, but it's about consistent profitability. 1 to 3 RR as an example, 50% win rate means that out of 100 trades, you are going to lose 50 losses of 1%. But you're also going to have 50 wins of 3%. So down the line, you are losing 50 bucks, but you are gaining 150 bucks, right? Like, so it's about the plan. What do I mean by edge? Having an edge in the market means you have a statistical advantage to make profit in the long term. So your plan, your strategy, your way of trading needs to have a certain amount, a certain percentage win rate and risk to reward ratio to be long-term profitable. And if you find an edge, which is a plan, a strategy that you can use over and over and over and over and over again, and based on your edge, which is your plan or strategy, you know the statistics, you'll know how profitable you're going to be. So edge is basically your plan strategy, I suppose. That's the easiest translation, no? So your edge is a plan or a strategy. And your plan or strategy should give you an advantage in the market so that long term, you're going to make profit. Short term, you might lose, you might win, you might have a 5 losing streak, you might have a 10 winning streak. It doesn't matter. The edge should be there to give you long-term profitability. That's also what happens in poker. Poker is the game of probabilities, right? Poker is quite close to trading in a way, where the smallest edge will give you profit in the end. Same with casinos. If you actually go to a casino, the house always wins, is like what they say, right? And that's because in a casino, the odds are against you by 51-49 or something. It's such slim margins, they just make you win enough to make you stay, but in the end, you're always losing. There's always that one person that wins big and then is set, and voila. But overall, over hundreds of thousands of casino players, the house wins. And that is what you're looking for in an edge. Right? So an edge gives you a statistical advantage. It should be a plan or a strategy, preferably, that you can repeat over and over. And therefore, you just execute the plan every time you see your plan. So, C. Bell, by the way, welcome. Very soon in theaters. Yeah, Hitman is already here. Wait. Yeah. So we go to Hitman tonight. We enjoy the cinema. You think the 86 is touched at Bybit? I see, Borna. I do like to see it touched on my chart as well. Actually, I removed it because I zoomed out earlier, but let me put it back. It's close. Let's stick around on a 1:30 minute. Yeah. That's fine. How can you count an ABC correction in the last 1 hour range from 70.3k down? The low of the initial move down has not been taken on other charts but Coinbase. how can you count an ABC correction in a last 1 hour range from 70.3K? I guess you're talking about this one. The low of the initial move has not been taken on other charts but Coinbase. Oh, you're talking about an ABC. Of course, I have not provided any count of this range here. I'm not really bothered with what's happening locally too much here. Yeah, how would I count this as an ABC? That's the question. So first of all, I don't count it as an ABC. An ABC would be a 535 zigzag, and yeah, of course, C has to move below your wave A, but this by itself looks a bit more like a three-wavy structure. In my opinion, it's something that I think covered in the live stream yesterday. But if you go to the 3min, this here feels very three-wavy. It doesn't really feel like a great impulsive structure, because we do have a wave 2, but we don't really have a wave 4. Unless this here is your wave 4, but it remains very short compared to your 2. So the probabilities wouldn't really be on the side for that to be a wave 1, right? Or a wave A. Now, in that case, what you can have, of course, is a WX and then a wave Y, or a flat, but for a flat preferably we of course need to touch the 0.9, which we haven't done. So you could have a zigzag here in your W, look for an ABC inside X, then get a Y to the downside, and then you retrace. But of course, as we are then looking for a corrective structure now, the probabilities would be higher to sooner or later still move up and take the high, because we're now counting WXYs, just because the first structure looks more three-wavy. So there is the potential for an ABC here, and then move to the upside, look for a wave C, and then move down in a wave Y, yeah, and then you just continue this range even further. But yeah, at the moment I'm not really, so that's the thing, I'm not really trying to involve myself too much with all the local mess and all the local structures, and the higher time frames are a lot more clear. The levels on the higher time frames are a lot more clear. The invalidations are a lot more clear, and therefore also confirmations, because each invalidation by itself is a confirmation. So yeah, I have not counted this in a lot of detail. I only had a look at the first move down, which looked three-wavy, and that is pretty much all I looked for. So yeah, if the move here is finished, then I'm not counting this as a triangle. I would also still count a WXY in here of some sort, and that's that. But yeah, not really too interested in very low time frame activities. So yeah, just being patient. And the WXY does look interesting. So yeah, in that case, on other charts, you will probably have a double bottom here. So you would then grab the liquidity. If you do move to the downside, we have a bit of support here, the point of control of the range that we have been in. So here you have the point of control, right? So that's an area of interest. Below the point of control, you pretty much have your next support at 67.2K. But that means you're going to take this low. That wouldn't be amazing if that happens. So you also, of course, have the value area high here, right? Also support. But yeah, in a bearish scenario, you're going to count a wave 1, 2, 3. It's just that it's not a great wave 1 if it is, because your wave 4 is so short compared to your wave 2 on a 3-minute time frame. But then again, that's the problem with the lower time frames. You know, I prefer to stick around on a 15-minute. I'm not interested in going to 3-minute stuff usually. So 50-minute for me is good enough. And then I just wait and see what price gives, no? So yeah, we just wait for probabilities to align. Hello? Loading. The only thing that, as mentioned in the analysis, so when we spoke about probabilities, on a weekly time frame, higher to move up as long as you don't hit at least 49.3k. On a 4-hour time frame, higher to move up unless you hit 66.6k, because that's just your hard change in probabilities. However, the probabilities are not too great to end the corrective structure here at the moment. So that said, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to be sticking around in this range for even longer. Because ending this range here, and this being the first impulse up, I don't know, it just, probability-wise, it doesn't feel good. So the probabilities in this range would be higher to continue moving sideways here. And then end the range at a later stage, right? And if you take the low, we're going to be bearish. And if you take the high, you're going to be bullish. But at the moment, it's not a great end to a range for now. So local price action will show us what it wants to do, and probabilities here were higher to move up, hence the swing trade long, by the way. And now just observe. So yeah, it's just not a great end. The name of probabilities, or the name of the game, yeah, probability. Also, if you win the trade and it's not part of the plan, it is bad. That is correct, Borna, because it teaches you wrong habits. Yeah, you might want to switch that around sometime. Win 140 and lose 20. I googled edging. What is the highest highest probability? I pretty much just mentioned it, but on a weekly time frame, bullish unless you hit 49.3k. On the 4-hour time frame, bullish until you hit 66.6k. Locally, in this range here, I at the moment would still look to continue this range probably till next week Wednesday, when the big news like Fed news and all that stuff comes in. Maybe we get a breakout then. But at the moment, so I don't know, from an Elliott Wave point of view, this doesn't look like a great end to the correction. So I think locally between 72 and 66, we still have some more ranging to do. Hence the reason why I like to relate that thought, those probabilities, with the news next week, because next week should be quite an interesting week. Of course, on Friday, we have some news as well. Tomorrow as well, Friday as well. But it's just Wednesday caught my eye when I saw all of these red boxes here. I don't know, inflation stuff, interest rate stuff, projection conference. This should be pretty exciting. So I might do a double live stream on Wednesday. I just go live in the afternoon and also go live in the evening. Let me see what's up next. Next week, Wednesday, I don't have any other plans. So except for just work, of course, with my own stuff. So yeah, that could be an interesting day to then look for clarity, breakout. Crypto Sir, and you're the player. We want to see how you play the game. From there we go learn how you do what you do. Show us how you play. I'm not even sure if you talk about Trackmania or trading now. Crypto, because I used to be a professional esports player. With the way you're writing, it's actually quite difficult to know what you mean. And you are the player, and we want to see how you play the game. That's literally what I, of course, share in all of my videos and in the Koen Setups channel as well. From there we go. Link is in the description for that Setups channel, where I share why a certain setup can be interesting from an Elliott Wave point of view. Not if I take them or not, because that's personal plan. Depends on the reaction. And I always trade based off reaction. I don't set limit orders. I'm mainly a market guy. But learn how you do what you do. Show us how you play. Yeah, that's of course mainly something I can do in the live streams, talking about everything. Cheers, Youssef. Correction of community. That's a new, I suppose. Yeah, at the moment it doesn't yet look like it with the load that we have. I probably should have included that in the probabilities that I mentioned here, but I'll just repeat it at the end of the video and then of the live stream, and then put a summary timestamp in the live stream. No problem, Cryptos here. Quick email needed. Good to have you here. Welcome. What does the Oracle say? Ashley? Up or down? Oracle says down. And by the way, she's 4 out of 4. So my wife has she has great probability so far. Yeah. She's been on point. So let's see if she is correct once again. So by the way, just disclaimer, she doesn't know anything about trading, right? So she's in the real estate market. That's her thing. I'm the financial trading guy, I suppose. But somehow she got herself 4 out of 4. She got some very good ones to hear from the Oracle. Exactly, Tim. Isn't that what we're here for, right? Krish Fig, Ovo, I mean, if she speaks, you listen. Besides the fact it's my wife, so I got to listen. You know, happy wife, happy life, they say. By the way, poolside, Tim, where you at? Where are you? Poolside, holiday. By the way, if the chart is refreshing in the background, I don't know why it is. It's trading view. So loading my 125x short as we speak. What was our 3 other predictions? Ooh, we got to go back to, maybe Chat knows better than I do. We got to go back to live streams to know exactly. She said short here. That's what I remember. I believe she said long here. And I don't know the first one or the other two ones. So yeah, she's been on point. You can go to the live stream Monday 27th of May. You'll see the short from the Oracle there. And if you go to the 24th of May, you'll see the same. Yeah, she's been on point, but I don't know the other two. You know, it's not something I remember or keep in mind. I also don't. So just again, disclaimer, she doesn't know shit about trading. She's just coin flipping, just guessing, oh, up or down. And then she says up or she says down. So, you know, it's definitely not something to trade from, of course. She's not an indicator. She's just randomly playing along. Krish Fig, would love to meet you both with my husband in France. Heard you are moving there. That's correct. Would be happy to meet. Krish Fig, where do you stay? Are you in the south of France as well? So we are planning to move to Beausoleil, and we got in touch with an agent, or at least we saw an apartment, and we were very excited. So we got in touch. We received a video of the apartment earlier today, and we confirmed our interest. So, but now it's the lottery game, because we want to rent, and it's fully furnished, which is great. So we can just go there and not take too much stuff, which is ideal. But we are first going to rent for a year and then see how life is, and then we can always buy after. And now it's just more than, of course, we're not the only ones that are interested. So now it's all about them and their decision. So it's the agent's choice now. So of course we are still in the Netherlands, so I don't know how much that will affect our like probability, our chances. I always speak in probability to actually take it, but they know we sold the house at least. We communicated that we're looking to relocate, all that stuff. You know, now it's up to them they're just gonna look at all the different people and then, yeah, see if we get it or not. I mean, there's literally no influence now that we have, so you should change your edge to hers. Yeah. Well, you bet I'm trading her edge sometimes. Anyway, Krish Fig, we both watch you live together. Look at you go! Like, thanks. It's like watching TV together. Cheers, Krish Fig and husband. Yeah, it would be a pleasure to meet up in the south. If you're in the French Riviera, that would make life easy, of course. I've witnessed 3 predictions from the Oracle. Lucky me. Tibetan Monk knows what's up. In Lanzarote, been off the charts, but keep looking at mountain ranges, trying to decide if they're corrective or impulsive. Well, I mean, in the end, the mountain always goes down on the other side, so I guess they never really continue moving up, if you know what I mean, right? But you can count the mountain edge. You can send us a picture in Discord trying to count the mountain. But Lanzarote, enjoy. I was thinking of Kupsala myself. Lanzarote is nice. Is your setup 2 or 3 monitors? I have 4, but I have 2 on now. So for your information, 4 of course sounds ridiculous, which it is. But I have 1 laptop here. I love laptops because I can take them everywhere, and you know it's nice for trading as well. So I have 1 laptop. I have I think this is 34-inch bend screen on my right. Then I have a second, so laptop, Acer Predator Triton 500, great laptop if you're wondering, if you're into laptops or you're looking for one, I can recommend. Then we have here a Samsung, I don't know what, 34-inch bent screen. Then I have another laptop, which is the Predator 15. It's a bit of an older model. And then I have a Acer Predator 24-inch screen. Now, the screen I use now, the bigger one, was actually the one that my wife had. But so she got a new MacBook actually a couple of months ago. And somehow, like, so with the MacBook, she can't plug in the monitor. So, and I never thought about, well, I can get a monitor now because it's a nicer one than I have. But actually, a few days ago, we were talking about it and literally like, wait, so why don't I use the monitor instead of a 24-inch? I now use a 34, 35, 30, whatever, a bigger bend screen inch. I was like, yo, I'm going to install it. So I did. Monitor arm and everything set and nice. And man, it's awesome. I love it. So yeah, that's the one I use now. So that means the 24-inch is parked. I don't really use it. 2 screens is enough for me, but I have 2 laptops, 2 screens, but the other laptop I don't really use, and the other screen is the 24-inch that I always used to use. So it's just collecting dust now for a few days, but I've been calling my family to see if they're interested, and then I can just give it to them. The latest push has some high volume. Could it be the 3rd subwave of the 5th? 66k. Oh, in that case, you're looking for a wave 5. Yeah, there's potential. So, of course, the nice way of writing is you say could, which is most important, right? So, yeah, if you analyze this piece of price action, there is the possibility to look for a 1, 2, and then a 3, 4, 5. But, of course, you want continuation, right? So, on the lower time frame, let's have a look, 5 minutes. That's quite a deep retracement. But what you're looking for is, of course, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If you're looking for a wave 3. Now, mind you, if the highest volume is in the high, it's either 3, C, Y, okay? In an impulse, you want to see a 4 and a 5. So if you're looking at an impulse here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then what you're going to do is you're going to take a fib from the low to the high. You don't want price to hit the 618. Now you see me be a little cheeky here because I took it from this low, right? Arguably I can take it from this low and then we touch the 618, which wouldn't be great for an impulse to the upside because it invalidates a wave 4, which would increase the probabilities to continue ranging or look for the lows. But because of the range here, this structure, and not really counting this in detail on a 3-minute time frame, I'm on the 5-minute now, I prefer to choose the lowest point here, which is this low, because it's the safest approach. So if price would hit the 618, you invalidate a wave 4. Now your bullish scenario is then going to be a 1-2-1-2 or a diagonal. Now diagonal, you need at least 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start talking diagonals. So a double 1-2 would then be your most bullish scenario, no? And your invalidation is then taking the lows here. In a double 1-2, preferably, your second wave 1 is a bit shorter in time and price compared to your first wave 1. Now this is your first wave 1, this is your second wave 1. So that's not ideal, but yeah, so we didn't yet really touch the 618, and a double 1-2 would still be on the cards. It's just observing what happens there, but this is 5-minute stuff, and I'm not a fan of 5-minute stuff. You know, I don't like the 5-minute. It's too messy, too much going on. I prefer zooming out. 69,950 stop loss now, break even, and targeting the 618 for triangle wave E at around 68. Your thoughts on this strategy would be appreciated. So I spoke about the triangle. So first of all, no financial advice, but if you talk about the triangle in particular, yeah, it's not. Where is it? This one. So at the moment, your wave B. So a couple of rules that are important to know. In a triangle, 4 out of the 5 waves have to be a simple zigzag structure. So an ABC up or an ABC down, 5, 3, 5. Only one wave is allowed to be complex, which is by far most commonly wave C, and second would be D. Now wave C here can be counted as a double zigzag. Wave B, however, counting B as a simple structure, ABC, is not looking that great. Potentially we label this WXY as well, but that's not allowed. Besides, B being a WXY is a bit awkward. Now so far we always had the triangle on the chart, but this first structure down looks a bit 3-wavy on the lower time frames. So taking this into account, the triangle is not really a preferred scenario that I have at the moment from an Elliott Wave point of view. Now we do have support here, and if we do range here, then what we could be looking for from a bullish scenario is a wave 1-2 continuation, right? Even though it's not great probabilities to end the range here. So yeah, probabilities would be hard to continue the range, but I'm not yet. Like the triangle becomes a bit awkward. I just have it on the chart for the sake of it having it on or in my folders. So yeah, there is the possibility A, B, C to the downside, but then the first structure has to be a wave A, right? Which means a 5-wave structure. Invalidation is the high, and then you want to see a wave C to the downside. So yeah, but it's so this is, I'm not. The only thing is that it's difficult to end the range here at the moment from an Elliott Wave point of view, as shown in the analysis as well. Or you need to make use of some really awkward structures, like forcing it. So probabilities generally would be high to still continue this range for a bit, maybe till Wednesday the 12th, when we have a lot of news. The triangle itself, I don't know. The probabilities, it's just the probabilities started to decrease as price continued to move, but it's still something I at least keep an eye on. Yeah, make sure you have a plan and a strategy, because your trade can be very profitable if it moves down, or you lose when it moves up. But have your own plan, your own strat. Vlog videos. Of course, it's a TA channel. I don't know, maybe one day, but for now, of course, we focus on what we do here. Did you take any positions right now? Not right now. I do have positions running. Haikun, if you had to choose which scenario we are in, out of all, which one? Does anyone watch the probabilities that I said here? Weekly time frame bullish, 4-hour time frame bullish till 66k. I don't really care about what's happening here. I explained in the analysis as well, like it just continues to range perfectly fine. Potential impulse up, corrective structure. I don't, it doesn't matter unless you hit significant levels, bearish. Probabilities are higher for up, and this range, like I can make it very simplistic. And look, I'm a guy that's like, I like detail, and sometimes that's something people like, and sometimes that's not the case. So I can be here and be like, okay, well, we got the triangle here, right? Valid scenario. And then I'm like, well, okay, but this has to be a WXY. Well, you're only allowed one complex wave. So this then has to be an ABC, but wave A on the lower time frame doesn't really count like a nice 5-wave structure, as we covered when price was here as well. So that doesn't really support this being an ABC to the upside. So that has a bit of an impact on the triangle. And now the first move down on the 3-minute looks 3-wavy. Look, I can very easily just give you like, okay, we got the triangle over here and validation is the low. We can have a WX and a Y structure, which is still valid, by the way. WX and then move for a wave Y, continuing this range, right? Perfectly fine. That would be a scenario I keep an eye on. But then we still just continue this range. I can look at 1-2s as well. 1-2, 1-2 continuation. But this wave 2 is longer in price and time than your first wave 2. Your first wave 1 is longer in price and time than your first wave 1. So it's not really preferred. So like, you see, like, it's not that I don't want to count this range, but it's just from a probabilities perspective, it doesn't matter how you count the range. As long as we don't see significant proof for price moving down, the probabilities are up. And 66.6k would be a minimum. Now, ending the correction here is difficult, which means the probabilities are higher to still continue ranging here for a longer period of time. So moving between 72k and 66k. And with that in mind, WXY, Y continuation would be a bullish scenario that I keep an eye on. Your bearish scenario would be this one. So these would be the two that I keep an eye on. Which one is it? This one. So you have your 1, WXY, 2, and then a 3 to the downside. That's your bearish one. And the bullish one arguably is going to be WXY, Y continuation. But at the moment, from a probabilities perspective, it doesn't change anything. So, yeah, that's why I like to stay on the higher time frames now. So, if price is going to show significant weakness, yeah, we can move bearish. But at the moment, as long as you don't hit 66.6, for now, locally, there's no clear signs of weakness. We still have bullish CVD divergences here, bullish CVD that we had here, bullish CVD that we have here. Yeah. So that is what I'm looking for at the moment. It's those two scenarios, WXYs, pretty much, complex structures. So, you don't choose one scenario, you choose probabilities. But at the moment here, in this range, probabilities remain higher till significant weakness or 66.6k, but we don't see both of these at the moment. So we just wait. Yeah. Pain from counting this, trading even more. Yeah. And that's also why I'm patient with trading the range now, because of the two scenarios, both bearish and bullish. Have you done analysis on the value areas and POC from previous all-time high from there? Yes. I showed this in the previous all-time high. Not the all-time high, but I do have the volume profile on my chart shown in the video this morning of the 2021 range, which is also nicely respected. What invalidates the fourth wave? Hitting the 618 retracement or entering territory of 1? Both. So that's a nice question. Both of them. Cheers, Mark. If it 4 doesn't enter the first on a line chart, will it? If it doesn't, I don't use the line chart. The invalidation is 618 with wicks. Yeah. So yeah, that's just that's that. If you hit the 618 with the candlestick with your wick, then it invalidates away 4, and you can bullish wise better move towards diagonals or double 1-2s. Because you're trading probabilities. So the moment the 618 is hit with a candlestick, the probabilities aren't high for a wave 4. So you got to switch. You got to look for other structures as the probabilities change immediately. Bullish CVD on Bybit. May I ask your current TP position? I don't have a TP position at the moment because I'm looking for bigger swings. And if probabilities change, then I will either TP or exit a trade. So with Elliott Waves, I'm more flexible. With my other strategy, which is a data-driven strategy, that is where I have very set TPs, 1, 2, 3 RR, every trade. But with Elliott Waves, I trade probabilities. And of course, I do look for reaction. So it's not like, oh, probabilities are higher for this, so I randomly enter a trade and voila. I need to see certain signs of strength, and I need to see other stuff to make me confident to enter a position. But with my TPs, if I see signs against my trade, then I either get out or I TP, and I can always re-enter at a later stage. So at the moment, there's no TP in the books. I'm just managing my position. Daily naked point 71K, that is correct, Mido, yeah, that's correct. So at 71K, we have a point of control, yeah. Correct. Okay, everyone, 1.5 hours. Time for me to continue with some activities. If you missed the teaser, there is a big playlist coming. This is the teaser that I can show you, but I can't show you more. There's a lot coming very soon that I've been working on very hard for all of you. So hopefully you're going to enjoy it. But that is everything that I can show you. So yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here, sharing a bit of your time with me on the live stream. And let's see how price is going to progress. You kind of know what I'm looking for. You know the probabilities as well. And it's a lot of patience in this range. And next week, Wednesday, that is going to be a very interesting day, in my opinion. So let's see what's going to happen. But that being said, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Tomorrow, of course, another live stream. Tonight, I'll try to get a YouTube update in before I go to the movies. So I'll try to do that. But yeah, thanks everyone, and I'm gonna see you at the next one.